Okay, good evening, and welcome to the January 12th Palmer Town Council meeting. Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you got the money. If you're a Democrat.
Okay, the first part of the meeting is a joint discussion with the planning board for appointment of a planning board member. The vote to appoint the vacant planning board seat with a term through June 30th, 2026 per section 2-E of the charter. We had one interested individual, Lori Walder. Lori, do you want to come up? Just ask that you can just go like right to the podium, and I would just ask if you could just introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself and what interests you in this position.
Okay, my name is Lori Walder. I've been a resident in town for most of my life. I've been an active realtor for about 35 years. So I know the town and its policies fairly well. I've raised 4 kids and 10 grandkids and put them through our school systems. So I've recently became a widow. So I have a little bit more free time on my hands. And I figured I'd be productive with it and get involved with the town and keep myself busy and see if I can help out a little bit.
Well, I'm sorry about
It's quite okay.
any questions from the council?
Nope.
Any questions from the planning board members?
The only concern I've had with you being a realtor, some of our special permits require a supermajority vote. And if you happen to be the realtor for, say, a client that comes in, how is that gonna affect,
I guess that's a good question. You'd have to give me an example. I mean, I'm
well, if you,
mostly
say if you're
residential.
representing a client that is looking to buy a piece of property, some of the applicants we get, they'll have an agreement to purchase, providing they get all the permits.
I guess disclosure is the only place I can go with that. I don't know.
Or,
It's up to
But if you're the realtor, I think that would be a conflict of interest as well.
getting permits,
No, representing the client.
assisting a client to get permits.
No,
I mean,
with
I
you
do-
being on the board voting to issue the permits.
You would just have to abstain. You'd have to disclose and also abstain. So it's
Okay.
not that you couldn't be part of the board because of that, so.
So
you'll
on
have to
that
go
one
through-
particular situation, I would have
Yeah,
to
but
remove
it does
myself.
put the
yeah.
board at a little disadvantage because, like the town council, none of us ever agree on everything
Yeah.
at some point.
Well, all the years I've been doing it, yet I have yet to have this cross this path. So maybe
Yeah,
or
but
maybe it
you're
will not happen. You never know.
on a
But yeah.
board, that makes the decisions either. You know what
And
I'm saying?
I'd gladly step back at that moment. That would be not a problem.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yep.
Anything else?
Anybody else?
I don't have any.
Okay, I'd be looking for a motion then to appoint Lori Walder to the vacant planning board position for a term through June 30th, 2026. Motion by Carl, second by Phil. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And how do you guys vote?
I make a motion.
A second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Perfect. Well, welcome aboard, Lori.
Thank you.
Welcome.
You might want to, just because of the position you have with, as a realtor, you might want to reach out to the state ethics and just ask them what you should do. You probably have to file something with the town clerk, just on
Yeah, my
notice.
broker is involved in that, so I
Okay.
got a immediate response to that. So
Okay, all right.
I'll
Well,
take care of that tomorrow.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. So that concludes our joint meeting, but we're not going to dissolve our meeting, so thank you guys for
Okay,
coming in.
thank you.
Thank you.
What I'd like to do is take the meeting out of order a little bit and jump down to new business, the zoning amendment. We have the first reading on the temporary moratorium on battery energy storage systems. So Heidi, if you want to come up.
I was gonna say, should we keep any planning people here?
So this proposed amendment is a temporary moratorium on battery energy storage systems, standalone battery energy storage systems. So along with solar, these BESS systems are protected by Chapter 40, which means that we can't prohibit or unreasonably regulate them. So we're hoping that this moratorium will give us time to put in safeguards and really consider regulations specifically for standalone battery energy storage systems, so that, you know, setbacks to residential areas and things like that are considered deeply before we adopt the regulations. So this would put a temporary pause on any applications for battery energy storage systems.
This is residential and commercial, correct? We're gonna have portions for both?
It's for large scale.
Okay.
So not something that you'd see in like a single family home, but something more that you would see for like, you know, large scale storage, like for a solar field or something.
Got it.
Okay. Any other questions?
I
know
did.
it's first
So
reading.
obviously, you're gonna, I forget where it is, I'm not seeing it right now. Anyways, there was something in there about fire and this and that, and having the fire department up to snuff. So what, you're gonna obviously have to hire somebody, because I don't feel that, I'm guessing it's not your forte on what is acceptable for fire protection and what's good, what training they supposedly need for fire protection. So you're gonna have to go on outside source to do this, that we have to pay for, what?
Yeah, so I was more alluding to in that portion, just making sure that it's a requirement for any developers that come in they have to put together an emergency response plan. But also we do have a peer review engineer that we work with on the planning board from VHB, so they could also take a look at the regulations that we put together and give us some input on whether or not they think it's adequate. I mean, ultimately, I think that it will be up to the developers to coordinate with the fire department to ensure that any proposals they put forth in the future meet their standards. But I think we'll be working, you know, with fire as we adopt these regulations to ensure that they agree with everything that's in there, as far as what we should require for emergency response plans, et cetera.
Okay, so the fire department would be where the buck stops as far as if it's adequate enough, or is there somebody that the fire department has to, you know, is there already something in place that, a standard or whatever?
We would follow the Massachusetts fire code, so we would follow, and also the plans would be submitted to the DFS, the fire marshal's office, to be reviewed.
In Boston or whatever?
So I
I
think
believe
there's,
there's actually a couple systems in town already, but I support what she's trying to do. So the industry is developing so fast, faster as we can keep up with regulations, so
Right.
it's not a bad idea to take a pause and
Well, I'm all in for a pause, I'm just trying to figure out how to
Just for the
figure
the safety
the safety factors of it.
Is this, if I'm getting this right, is this a big battery like you're storing the solar power from?
Yeah, it's just a really big lithium ion battery, essentially.
Okay, and
is
is
the
it,
size of storage containers filled with racks and racks of batteries. It depends upon the size of the
and
field.
it's the same as the cars are that they have in there and the
Just a lot-
bicycles?
But like larger
a
scale.
lot bigger.
I was told you can't put that fire out,
It'll burn for days.
yeah. That's
So-
safe?
so there's two things. So this is just
Yeah, I
to
don't
put
like the whole idea.
a moratorium,
Right.
which will give them 6 months to put together an ordinance that would regulate in some way, and not really regulate either, but just like what has to be adhered to for these facilities. But I do think it's important to get all the fire departments involved, though. And especially if you're putting anything in here that's specific to fire safety, that isn't under like the state standards. And then we have 3 different fire departments that we wanna make sure that, I guess, if we're putting something in an ordinance that's on the town side, but the fire departments don't, they don't follow, they're not under us, so they don't follow our ordinances. I think we need to work together to make sure that we're not putting something in an ordinance that is contrary to what they would do as a fire department or a district.
Definitely.
Okay?
Yeah.
And who's gonna be using this stored energy?
Well, it's gonna be distributed to residents, to people all across the state, I assume, yeah.
Some of the reasons why they
Chief,
have
can
it.
you go to the microphone, because nobody can hear you at home? Thank you.
Some of the reasons why they have the storage requirements is because the grid can't accept the electricity, so they store it until it's available for the grid to buy it. So they're not generating the electricity and just wasting it, letting it go. They store it in the batteries until the grid can allow it, or like in this area, the grid needs to be upgraded so it can handle more electricity.
And I do want to clarify with some of the fire standards and things like that. So because moratoriums have been generally disapproved by the AG's office since 2022, a lot of their disapprovals had to do with not citing enough evidence. So that's sort of why we mentioned the fire issue as a potential safety concern. So it doesn't mean that we're going to be adopting new fire code regulations or anything like that. It's more just going to be like, what are we going to require from the developers to give to us to show that they at least have a plan in place in case there is a fire, and how do they plan on controlling that, et cetera. So.
Anything else? Okay, thanks, Heidi. Thank you. Okay. Jump back to the beginning of the agenda, visitors' comments. Is there anyone that wanted to speak? Bonnie? Yep, thanks.
Good evening, my name is Bonnie Rathbone, I live at 20 Brown Street in Palmer. I'm just here to ask for your help. I've lived in downtown Palmer since 1974, and I've never seen the sidewalks like they are today. Now, we have a lot of walkers in downtown Palmer. There are people who don't have transportation, they're walking to the bank, they're walking to CVS, Walgreens, various areas. Now, we used to have a stipulation that when a storm was coming through, there should be no parking on the street. Well, either we don't have that stipulation anymore, or no one's going by it. And I feel so very sorry for Department of Public Works, DPW. They do a great job trying to plow our streets, but they have to plow around the cars, and then after the storm and the cars take off, the mound of snow is still in the street. And it used to be that people had 24 hours to shovel their sidewalks. There are so few sidewalks shoveled in this town that it's really infuriating. I mean, where Friendly's used to be, that sidewalk is not shoveled, or the side of it. And there are kids that go to the bus stop. Dunkin' Donuts, they have not shoveled their sidewalk yet this year. Not just in front of Dunkin', but also up the hill. And there's people that live up that hill that have to walk down to it. It's just so frustrating. The old Quabog School, they don't shovel in front of theirs. And the sidewalk either up the side or in the front. Many of the people in town don't do the shoveling on the side roads. And people are trying to walk, they have to go off the sidewalk and go into the road and then get back onto the sidewalk. And it's just frustrating, it's just infuriating. Other towns have, stipulations to follow to get the cars off the street. Last year, what the police did was they put stickers or cards on the cars that you had 24 hours, this was a warning, after that you're going to get ticketed. But it's just very, very frustrating. A lot of the people use other companies to do the shoveling and the sidewalks and everything. They're paying money to get their sidewalks shoveled, and then other people do nothing about it. It's just frustrating, and I don't know. What can we do? We need your help, and we need to have the no parking enforced. And as I said, now, we have a wonderful DPW. You know, we shovel our sidewalk, they don't go flying up the street and throw the snow back on the sidewalk. They're very, very caring about the taxpayers and everything. But we need to do something to help others out. You know, downtown Palmer and Friendly's, not only is the sidewalk not shoveled, this huge sign has been tipped upside down and over, so people would have to climb over that. It's just frustrating. What do we have to do to make downtown Palmer look a better place? I love this town. I love the people in this town. It's a great place to live. But we have to help each other out. We have to help the walkers out. I don't want anyone getting hit by a car. I don't want anyone slipping and falling. What can we do about it?
Well, I can share the same sentiment about the Thorndike area of
I'm
town.
sure, yes, because I drove through and I saw the
yes.
same thing.
So what I've been doing, and it's a lot, right? So I've been compiling a list of addresses to share with the town manager to send out letters to the residents who are not and it's not just residents, right? It's, as you mentioned, the Friendly's building. It's the Thorndike School down here. And even in the Thorndike part of town, right? We're in the radius of, these are students that don't have a bus to take to school. So they're literal children who have to walk the sidewalks to get to school. So it's not just, just anybody who is walking. It's also the students who don't have that public transportation option available to them. So, Brad, if you want to take that over.
Yeah, so we if you guys remember back maybe 2 months ago now, we reviewed our winter policy. So Bonnie, we did modify the policy where it was never enforced, right? So when we go through ordinances, one of my big things to clean up, and not only ordinances, policies as well, is if we can't enforce it, why do we have it in writing? So what we did on this specific one was we changed it where it's at the police chief's discretion, or DPW, or I can call a emergency for storm basis, where when we make the phone call out for the all call or publish it, we would tell people what side of the road they could park on.
We've never done that before, Brad.
We've never done it before, but we've also never actually ticketed. And our old policy was that you weren't allowed to park on the street from, I believe, November 1st all the way to March 1st. No on-street parking. I think it was maybe up for an hour from like 7 p.m. till like 6 a.m. Right? That's not going to be manageable by the town, and it's not manageable by the residents either. So when we looked at that, we cleaned it up. So we haven't had a snowstorm, to my knowledge, that we actually shut down any street. Now, to say that if the DPW is having issues with plowing or maintaining, then that's a different discussion that we should talk about internally. But that has not happened yet.
They just haven't called and told you, because I can tell you for a fact, and I don't like to do that, but Commercial Street, back in there, I remember, like you said, it was at a certain time at night, and it was enforced. I can remember getting a ticket. I had a tractor trailer, and I didn't get out early enough in the morning, and I was parked on Commercial Street. I didn't get to leave early enough, and they put a ticket on the truck. But for the most part, the people are supposed to know. You got a snowstorm coming. Get your vehicle off the street. What I'm saying is you can clearly see it on Commercial Street that the few storms we've had, they've had to go around 3, 4, 5 different cars, and then like around the corner where the town owns the sidewalk, because that side of the bridge ain't open no more. They don't bother. The town doesn't bother taking care of the sidewalk there. But it should be known that they do. If a storm is coming, that they're not supposed to be parking on the road. This new thing here, I don't know, that you should have to be telling these people, even Main Street, Thorndike, going all the way up. You can see after the storm who was parked there all night. And they have parking spots in their yards. One person actually put a new parking spot.
Yeah, so this goes along with a lot of our issues in downtown and other areas, right? Is that I think we've been reluctant to issue fines and make a lot of people upset. And I think we all understand that the last thing we want to do is issue fines. We want people just to comply. So we've been sending letters home when we have for various things that are brought up to our for us to address. But reality is there comes a point where if information isn't translated, there's only so many avenues we can push that information out, that maybe we go back to the sticker system, but ultimately it's going to come down to actually finding people to make the change. And I think we're getting there. I just, as you guys know, there's a big backlash when you start to ticket and you start to enforce
You
those
could
fines.
start out with just, like, after the storm, somebody goes around and throws warnings on their vehicles, just so you know.
A warning, right.
You got a storm coming, you've been warned. And again, it's not rocket science. I mean, I don't know. It's like this, in my opinion, downtown sidewalks should be taken care of by the DPW in front of all the businesses. After a storm, I mean, I don't know, I guess you'd have to educate me, other than plowing during the winter, what are they off doing? You know, Munson takes care of all their local their main streets. Some people, to your thing, some people might not be, I'm 65 now. I got lucky to fall into a cheap snowblower. But what happens when I can't take care of my sidewalk? In the winter, it becomes our sidewalk that we have to take care and maintain for people to walk. But in the summer, if you were to put your tire on that sidewalk, now all of a sudden it's the town's. So, I mean, I grew up in this town walking from my house to Thorndike Grammar in the snow. It's winter, it's slippery. Put boots on. Not everything is going to be picture perfect, leave it to Beaver, Cleaver type of stuff.
I just feel sorry for the people who have to walk to get from one place to another. And the people like to walk their dogs around town and everything. It's just,
I've seen them walking the road with my sidewalk shoveled, so.
that's up to them, but I mean, at least you're
Yeah.
sidewalk. So keep track of people who don't shovel their sidewalks?
We have been, and the plan is to mail out as those come in. Because again, a lot of people, some residents don't know. I get it. In my opinion, being a good neighbor, you should want to do that. But reality is some people always don't know what our town bylaws are. And actually, I think your own sidewalk is a state law. I'm 90% sure that it's that if
Town
you
owns from the center of that line, center line so far over.
when it comes to sidewalks though, in front of your property, I believe it's MGL that you own that.
Yeah, Bonnie, I'm glad you brought it up. There was a wheelchair guy. They can make it to my yard, but not to Cumberland Farms because
Thank
they
you.
haven't shoveled the whole time.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's just very
Told the manager
frustrating.
about it, so
It's very infuriating.
what
And I don't want anyone to get hurt.
yeah. He goes out in the road.
Oh, I know he does. I'm a nervous wreck every time I see him, believe me. I am.
Thank you.
And the other question, on Main Street and on Park Street, where they put the pipelines in, obviously the roads are not in the best condition now because of all of those ups and downs. Will the gas company pay to repave the
They're
roads?
gonna do that in the spring. They ran out of time this past
they
year.
will do?
They will, and they
Good.
also own cleaning that up as we go. So if there's an issue where it's uneven, there's a pothole, they own that during the
Oh,
winter as
really?
well.
Oh,
Yes.
okay, 'cause someone was asking me about that. I said, I assume that the company will pay for it. I don't think it's up to us
No.
to repay.
They're gonna replace
And what do they
essentially the
cost?
center
Was it
line.
8-10 feet over a couple meetings ago.
It ends up being almost the center line all the way over to the sidewalk.
Right, because it's right in that place, and it's kind of hard, and it's been hard driving that area.
So that'll be springtime. We're first on their list.
Right.
So if there are any potholes or anything in those areas, we
They
should
own that.
just, okay.
Call
we should just
DPW. DPW will be the contact midpoint.
Someone know, okay,
Yep.
well, someone asked me about that. I said, I assume it's the gas company. I assume it's not us.
Yep. And I'm corrected. We did have one parking ban on December 2nd already.
Okay,
So-
I thought there was one.
Yep.
I thought there was one. Well, thank you very much for listening, and thank you to the DPW for everything they do. They do a great job.
No, and Bonnie, I think we even from my standpoint, I acknowledge it just is, it's tough, right? Because we're going to get caught up in here is when we start enforcing this, there's going to be an older couple that comes in that says, well, I can't maintain it. And then we're also going to say, we apologize, but we're going to have to fine you $25, $50, and actually I think we can lien the property if DPW maintains it. So it's going to be a difficult conversation, I think, once we start
Let me
fining.
tell you, of the people who aren't shoveling the sidewalks, I don't know anyone who's in that category. Let's put it that way.
But if there is, in
And I'd be
reality,
the first one to
there
get
should
them
be
help.
something that the town does to help them people, whether it's neighbors, whatever, because I tell you what, I get to that age and I'm still living there, I'm flipping you all the birds. I'm not going out there shoveling.
to leave.
And no, there are a lot of good people
And
here.
you want to come take my property because of it. This is a whole new
There's a lot of good
conversation
people who
happening.
want to help
Shotgun
other
goes
people
out
in
the
this
window.
town. There's kids that volunteer to do these things and everything. And I know that if anyone was in dire need, any of us would be the first one to go out to help them.
I mean, I don't know, is there something that we can create that somebody like that or what, you know, I don't know.
There's a lot of good people out here. Okay, thank you very much for listening
Thanks,
to me.
Bonnie.
Thank
you.
Chapter 40, subsection 7, by the way.
That's what it's covered under, and then it says,
If you accept this section of Mass General Law, then it pertains to shoveling your sidewalk in the wintertime, yeah.
I thought we had an ordinance too.
we do. but
Anybody else?
MGL trumps everything.
Seeing no one else. Next, we have the approval of minutes from December 8th. Any comments? We have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And we have the minutes from December 18th. Any comments? We have a motion.
Make a motion.
Yeah, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? You were absent. All right.
I was absent? Oh, I guess I was.
Did you, were you? It says you were. Jessica Ferry.
Okay. Yeah, I must have been.
Did you make
That was the
motion?
quick meeting,
I did make a
the
motion.
extra meeting.
Yeah.
I think you
Yeah,
can.
it was maybe 15 minutes.
Okay.
So can someone else make the motion, because Jessica wasn't here?
Make a motion.
Motion by Matt, second
Second.
by Carl, all in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Opposed, one abstention.
Yep.
Okay, old business. We have an update on Palmer Fire District Number 1 ambulance service, Chief Burnett and Deputy Chief Fitzgerald.
Good evening.
You can sit if you want. Ashley can move over
Yeah, you can
one.
shuffle down us.
And then just the mouse is here if you need to adjust.
Okay. Here, John, you can sit. All right, good evening. It's been a while since we've been here, and it's been a little over a year since we've been the primary ambulance service for the town of Palmer, and a lot of things have changed, so I'll let Deputy Chief Fitzgerald update you guys on our changes.
Yeah, so past 11 months since we were last here, been very busy, obviously, with maintaining and being the primary service, but also upgrading our service at the ALS level. It was a lot of legwork between just a lot of paperwork, just meeting state requirements, hospital requirements, and we basically met all our objectives with flying colors. And on January 1st, we went live with our ALS service. So, so far, everything's been pretty good with that, and we're running a smooth business pretty much.
Can you talk about staffing a little bit?
Yeah, so right now we're, so when we first took over as a primary service, we were just staffing with 2 EMTs 24/7. So originally, before we were doing any kind of ambulance stuff, we just had daytime positions, non-EMS, but then obviously taking over as a primary service, we switched to the 24/7 platform. We're working on basically being 3 people for 24 hours, that third person being a paramedic. We're about to have our third full-time paramedic start his orientation next week, and we're still hiring a fourth paramedic to be 24/7. But right now we're covering between 8 to 24 hours daily at the ALS level, more towards 24 hours with our full-time staff. And then we also have a fourth position, which is going to be during the day, which we call like a ramp-up spot. So that is able to capture all like the second call. So just last month alone, having that fourth person, we were able to capture about 20 EMS calls that would have been answered by a mutual aid service. So obviously delayed, basically transport care to the hospital.
So how many hours are you required to cover as ALS?
For the first 3 years, it's 8 hours a day.
Okay. And then after the 3 years, it's 100%?
You have to be 24/7, yep.
But as you mentioned, we're gonna be well over that 8 hour.
Yes. So with that fourth shift that we're still looking for the paramedic for, we're gonna have 3 full-time paramedics and 6 part-time paramedics. So you'll have 9 paramedics that can grab that fourth shift. So that fourth shift once every 4 days will be an opening for 9 paramedics that grab for that open vacancy.
Talk about vehicles.
What's that?
Vehicles, quick.
So we have 2 ambulances, but we only have 1 set of ALS gear. So if our primary ambulance goes out for like preventive maintenance or any kind of repairs or anything like that, we can easily just move our ALS gear to the second ambulance. So obviously, if primary ambulance goes out in an ALS call, that second call is going to have to be staffed at the BLS level because we don't have like basically the money to afford a second set of ALS gear is pretty pricey for that. But hopefully something we can do in the future though.
We also have a third ambulance. It's a licensed ambulance, but it's a mechanical spare.
And how are collections going?
We just met with our company today, and everything's very solid. We're right around the 80% of our collections.
80% of billing?
So it's what our contractual allowance is between like Medicare and Medicaid is we're gonna bill for X amount, but contractually you only can bill for this. We're meeting that at 80%, and like the other like insurances, we're pretty much capturing about 80% as well. It's like private insurance and stuff like that. So like Blue Cross as well. So. Yeah.
And then are you guys, like, so for the stuff that's not allowed, are you guys are like writing that off, like getting that off the books so that you can like have a true receivable of like what's outstanding?
Yeah, so that we can't do balance billing with anything
Correct.
Medicare, Medicaid, but yeah, that's what they do with like the other private insurances. Like Comstar will be sending out for like the balance billing and for like obviously write-offs and stuff like that, and what we can choose to go to collections and not.
Yeah, but if you, what I mean is, so if you, let's say you build $500,000 over the course of the, I mean, I don't know how much you're doing, but, and let's say, well, let's use 400,000 because it's easier.
Yep.
So $400,000 and you get about 25%.
Yeah.
Right? So that 300,000 that you're not gonna collect, because you can't, because it's not allowed.
Yeah, legally can't,
Are you
yeah.
guys like getting rid of that on your books so that you have a true like receivable of like what's outstanding? Or are you like leaving that there? So if you bill me $400
Yep.
and you can only get 100 from me, then are you making my account 0 so you show that as being really like a 0 balance bill? Because this is what I'm afraid that down the road, if you don't do that, when it's like, how much is your outstanding
It's gonna look like
receivable?
we're losing more than what
Yeah.
we're doing.
Right, because you really collected 100% of the $400 bill,
Yep.
The
because
way
you
it's
can't get the
being-
300.
The way it's being tracked right now is both. You have, what we can bill for and
What
what
you
we
can't.
can't.
Yeah. So we use Comstar, and they send us a spreadsheet once a month of what we bill for contractual net allowances, net payments received. So they're really on top of what they
Okay.
provide for data each
But,
month.
yeah, it's like automatically separated. so.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just wondering about that, because it's gonna be interesting to see, like, when we get to the end of this year, like, where your revenues are. Really not revenues versus outstanding, but true outstanding, not an
Yeah.
outstanding balance. It's the stuff you can never collect. That's why I'm asking that question.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who does the billing for you?
We have
If you
it's
could do it for my dad.
Comstar, so they handle a lot of like EMS billing like throughout New England pretty much, and they just take a percent of only what's receipts returned. So like same thing, if we were to bill 400, but we only get 300 back, they would just take a percent off the $100.
What's the percentage of that?
5%? Yeah, 5%. Yeah, and that's just based on call volume.
I wonder if you can hire my wife, she'll do it for you.
It's not easy.
No.
Not easy.
No, it's not easy, she did it.
Oh,
Get
did
Mass
she
Health
do
and from
medical
my
billing?
dad's office,
Yeah.
Yeah, she was down quite a bit of money, and my dad said, "Don't sweat it, you'll get it." She did.
Yeah, some of the insurance companies are a little slow,
Tricky, yeah.
unfortunately. Okay.
Thank you.
So overall, you think things are going well?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I mean, when the state inspector came in to do our inspection, he obviously went through all the paperwork, checked out all our equipment, and he says in the years he's been working through the Commonwealth, working for DPH to do inspections, we're the second fastest community throughout the whole state that they've seen do this quick, go from basically an EMR to BLS to ALS like that quick. He was very impressed when he came in and saw everything.
Great.
And then just so council's aware too, I've met with the fire chief and deputy chief and one of the district reps regarding the contract between the two parties, and we're at the finish line for that. So we're inching closer, I think, every day.
Okay. And I'm assuming no sit-down meetings with the other districts at this point?
No, not yet.
Okay. All right, any questions other than what we already asked? Okay, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you guys for your support.
Hey, are you guys, on a different note, are you guys still doing the the sand for seniors?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Do
You
you
guys shovel
like-
sidewalks too?
We
Not that I'm
haven't,
volunteering, but you know.
we haven't been promoting it a lot just because of our call volume and
Yeah.
we're slow with staff, but we're still doing it.
Okay. I was just wondering. I appreciate you guys doing that.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, we have,
Thanks, guys.
Here, guys.
Ashley is going to give us an overview, I believe, of a boards and committees and commissions handbook.
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
So, I worked closely with our town clerk to get this document together. The purpose is to formalize our procedures and policies regarding our volunteerism for our boards, committees, and commission seats. The document includes the index as presented in the memo, the role of the various agencies, what the appointments look like, and also rules of thumb for how to conduct a quorum meeting, the things that we all get to know as we live through them, but at least it's in a document before people sign on, so they're familiar with the process. Newly put in here are the interest form, sample meeting notice, sample meeting minutes. Something to highlight that minutes must now be submitted to the town clerk electronically within 30 days, so we can post on the website. These are all things so we are in conformance with our regular procedures, and just kind of helps everybody get up to speed.
And we had a more basic version of this on file that we had previously used. We looked around for a couple different communities that had theirs recently updated through various channels, whether it was through MMA or I think a couple different groups do this kind of work. So we just borrowed, made it our own with the Palmer touch on it. And I can tell you from a few different boards and committees that I've worked on that are really at the starting point or they're brand new, having this as a guidebook is a home run because a lot of people struggle with that, right? Everyone gets involved in these boards and committees with the best intentions, but they don't know all the rules and regs that follow. This is a great snapshot of everything, and it all can be found in a 15-page document that highlights the processes and what the key dates and who to submit to are. So I'm proud of this document.
That's great. So now will the goal be that when someone new gets sworn in or?
They'll get a copy of
they'll
this.
get a copy?
Exactly.
Yeah.
This just covers the town umbrella stuff, right?
Correct.
Just
Specifically.
the stuff specifically, though, for the town hall. Not necessarily the districts that have to give you guys meetings for the website and posts for the website and stuff like that.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe this pertains to the districts, but it would pertain to the.
If they wanted to borrow this and use this as a sample, we'd absolutely recommend it because it does capture everything that everyone should follow.
No, I get it, but I mean, we do have the districts don't necessarily fall under the town umbrella, but they do submit minutes and they do submit, things
They
to
do
the town.
They post the
For
meetings.
postings,
Yeah.
correct,
Exactly,
right.
yeah.
So, I mean, even though they don't specifically follow the guidelines of this is just for town, it would be great for them also, is what I'm saying.
Exactly. They could use it as a sample.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I don't think it hurts to just, if this is the final version, to just send it to them and just say, hey, we put this together, it might be helpful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
That was that was your point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly, as a reference.
Yeah.
And
I
we,
think-
sorry.
Oh, sorry, I was just gonna say, I think, you know, maybe instead of giving them people the paper copy, because I noticed you have a lot of links in here to other things, so I think it would be nicer if, so if I'm getting sworn in, right, you send it to me electronically, and then I have it, and I can save it, and then I can reference, by clicking on something where, wherever it goes to, or if it takes me to the charter, or the
Yeah.
Secretary of State's office for the open meeting law, I'm
We can get it
assuming.
on the website for sure.
Yeah,
As a
that would be-
PDF and,
yeah.
After tonight's meeting, I would plan on posting it online, yes.
That's great.
where on the website, to be determined. We'll let everyone try to find it, but.
Can we please not bring that up?
Website's a whole different.
I cry every time, Phil. I cry every time I open it. Working on it.
Well, I would say it would make sense, like, on the clerk's.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
next year,
Yes, and
next
boards and
year, right?
committees,
We
they
can
may
submit
have
it for the MMA awards.
Trying.
All right.
Okay, any questions? Anything else?
Thank you, Ashley.
No.
Great job.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's
definitely.
great.
Let
Thank
Sue
you.
know too, please.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have the fiscal 27 budget process timeline.
Yep.
Brad.
So I'll just quickly talk through what I think the next couple months will look like for the budget. I don't have a formal presentation tonight. My guess is I'll have a preliminary budget for everyone come February. I didn't want to put out a number right now solely because I have a very conservative number on health insurance that I hope comes down. But as everyone knows, the landscape for health insurance is not very pretty right now. And a lot of people are seeing significant double-digit increases. I haven't seen this official, but someone told me there was like some were over 20%. So I'm hopeful we're not in that ballpark. But I put in 16 as my preliminary number, and hopefully we work down from that. So as of to date, departments submitted their level service budgets to me as of January 1st. So I have all of those. Gabrielle and I are reviewing them with each department individually to go through anything that may have gotten miscalculated. Is there a double entry? Because as you guys know, we brought facilities on specifically. We merged a lot of the budgets that were part of individual departments into general facilities, and also we have a different cataloging system and inventory system for other buildings as well. So it's just a little bit scattered from what it used to be, that we want to make sure that nothing got double accounted for. So we're going through that process now. My thought would be that we would have that done by the February 1st date. I would then look at, by that point too, we'll have state cherry sheet numbers, which we can implement in and really get where our kind of where we're falling for a level service budget. My plan would then be to put a final review on that, give my projection of where we may need to cut. I will be honest with you, we are projecting as a shortfall right now, not to the level of what we originally were last year of $1 million, but until I get the health insurance number, I don't want to put a hard number out there for everyone, because I don't want to create panic that may not be needed. So the plan again, is to go through that, and if by February 1st, get something finalized, give you guys a general update in February. Then the budget subcommittee will start their review process mid to late February. And then I have to provide you, as the council, according to the charter, a budget as of, I think, March 1st, I believe, in accordance with the charter. So that is what the next couple months will look like, and we'll go from there.
So were you talking about restructuring Munis? Or
No,
just-
no, it's specific to the binder we give everyone.
Yeah.
Those departments, last year, the goal is to really calculate down into the building. So when I talk about the police department or the council on aging, we have a definitive number on electric, for example, or how much we spent on general fixes. So we moved all of that money really into the facilities line item, and then throughout the course of the year, we're charging off the expenses to the individual department and then transferring the money. So it's a little bit of a accounting nightmare right now of people are still getting used to that system, that I'm just want to review to make sure that every budget, they didn't keep utilities in there where now it's double accounted for because it's also in the facilities budget.
Gotcha.
Any questions on that? And just point of reference, this year as well, every 1% of health insurance represents $40,000. So if we do get hit with a 20% increase, I have 16 in my budget right now. That's $160,000 swing. That's why I'm reluctant to put a number out there, just because you can have those major variances in one line item that are significant fluctuations to the budget. So
Are we also anticipating another jump in Hampden County retirement?
we actually saw a reduction. However, I am not proposing that we
Change, no, I'm not proposing
I'm
any
proposing
changes.
we reduce it. I'm actually proposing, and we'll talk through this as we go through the budget committee, but in my mind, we know that's a one-year anomaly. That I don't think we should not put anything in there, reallocate the funding across to all the operating budgets, because we know we're gonna pay the price double come
That's not
fiscal
what I'm
year
asking.
20.
I
Yeah.
just know that healthcare and that were the huge
Huge
hitters.
drivers last year.
Right, those are the
Exactly.
big hitters, so.
Yep.
We just want to make sure that we're making sure that, yeah.
Exactly.
The other thing too, for receipts, right? This year we should have all of our cannabis, right? That should be all in set.
Yep,
We
we've
should be
adjusted all
collecting,
of those. Yep.
right? So that money, we've never officially allocated it for anything specific, right? That
Well, that's part of
money-
local receipts, so that's part of.
Yeah.
That all goes into general fund, no?
Right.
It does, and we were very conservative on our numbers. So now that we have a full year of dollar amounts, we can jump that up. Yes.
Right. Awesome. No, just thinking, around, because I know that was outstanding the year before, because we had some late things that happened on that, so we weren't collecting.
There's the states behind the times too on processing that.
Well, I
So
think fiscal '26 is the first full year.
Correct. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. This should be our first full year.
Yeah.
Right.
Though I will tell you, the revenues overall comparison, quarter to quarter, the receipts are going down. So there's an oversaturation of the market. There's now, my understanding is there's stores that have opened in Connecticut. So there are a lot more opportunities, and so,
we'll maintain conservative on there.
yeah, you definitely need to. I
And I
mean,
think-
I am seeing like 50% less per quarter.
Well, we also just saw too that the state just passed on-site consumption, so I'm expecting the planning board to be coming back for regulations on that.
Did that actually pass, or is that still in
I
discussion?
think that was still.
I thought they had decided on it already.
I think as of January
They
they
had
passed
made
it.
some decisions, yeah. Nothing official, I don't think yet, but I know that they were, it was there, like,
Did they give a projection on what they anticipated that to change for revenue?
no, I didn't see any of that.
I just don't
But
know
I
how
do
much
know
changes
that
the
I'm
bottom
sure
line.
people are gonna jump on that, and I know that towns and cities are gonna have to jump on, obviously adjusting their,
You have to opt into it.
well, for number one, we have to opt into it, and number two, we'll have to adjust the ordinance, because we have a whole ordinance about it, and I don't think we have anything in there adopted that, so, because it
No,
wasn't.
because it wasn't
Right, it wasn't
legal.
even on the table at that time, right.
Okay.
So we got a ways to go, I'm just saying, but that's on the horizon, so.
Anything else, Brian?
No, that's it for budget, unless there's any questions on that.
Okay, subcommittee reports. I don't think there's been any meetings.
The budget committee, or not the budget, the ordinance committee has been meeting regularly. So I know that, and I know that, they've been keeping really good track of who they're meeting with, the changes that need to be made and everything like that, so.
Good. Town manager report?
All right, so first I want to wish everyone a happy new year. It's hard to believe we're already in 26, but here we are. The Palmer Cultural Council recently approved 18 grants for a total of approximately $15,000. I like to thank them for all the work that goes into the grant process because they run the full application to approval from point A to point B. And I just also want to put a note there that they are still actively seeking members. And if anyone is interested, you can send an email to palmerculturalcouncil@gmail.com.
Questions on that? Brad?
Sure. I don't know if I have answers, but I'll.
According,
I might ask.
according to the state guidelines for cultural councils, the money should be going to, community events.
Yep.
Over 50% of the money from the cultural council went to school field trips, which does not include the entire community. Like, I can't just jump on a school field trip and go,
They
so-
might let you.
well, I'm sure.
As, what is that,
A
chaperone?
Yeah, as a chaperone maybe, but,
I got on a whale watch once.
I don't know if
But-
that's I without reading like into the specifics on that.
I think we should, only because I don't see other towns. I did take a look at a couple other towns in their cultural community, their councils, and I don't see them funding field trips.
So field trips isn't allowed, it is an allowable expense.
It is? Okay. I just don't see other communities surrounding us doing that, so.
So you don't want
over
kids to have
50
fun?
No, I didn't say that.
Just-
But it was, when I was in school,
No, yeah.
my parents sent
Yeah,
money
yeah,
in
yeah.
and we went to school field trips. I get it.
Right.
I understand.
Yeah.
Things are getting more expensive. I agree with that also. So, supplementing field trips, or are we paying for the entire field trip? That I don't know, right? So, right. So, I'm just questioning the fact that over 50% of the council, the cultural council money is going to the schools versus going into the community itself for, like, you know, farmers markets and other events that would affect, you know, more.
So, yeah, so I sent you guys tonight again, I'm a little bit behind on some of my town council stuff, but I sent you the email from Beth. Is that what you were referring to?
Yeah.
Also? And so I did send her a question, which she actually has responded to me. So I did ask her how many requests for funding they received and were you able to accommodate them all? And so her response was that they received 30 grant applications and rejected 12, mostly because they did not meet the criteria we have set, such as having a definitive date or approximate date of a venue already scheduled. She says, or we have supported them in the past and we give first priority to first-time applicants. But I would suggest that you email her back and ask her those questions so that she can elaborate.
Yeah.
And if you would like, I'm sure she would be happy to come to a meeting also to talk a little bit more about, you know, how they fund.
Yeah, I feel like this is one that we should talk about more in depth, in my opinion, on bringing them in when their grant season starts. Come in, because a lot of people don't know these exist, right? So that could be a good conversation that when the next application round comes in.
Yeah.
Sure. Sounds good.
Also, Phil and I can go on the field trips on the Council of Aging. Matt, you'll be there pretty soon, so we can all go together. Salem in the fall.
On January 2nd, the town sponsored a youth bowling event, which had 25 participants. We were a little bit late in my mind on marketing that program, but overall, to get 25 in was a good turnout. And we'll look to offer a similar type program during February vacation. And again, start the marketing campaign a little bit earlier. One thing I also reached out to the superintendent in schools on is working with maybe a PTO on having a open pool night. Again, just another community event that if the town can sponsor and cover the lifeguard piece of it, hopefully the school could match that with the facility fee and waiving that or something similar. So hopeful to put on a little bit more community events as we move forward. We are excited to report that we have successfully increased our communications presence on Facebook. According to Facebook's insight data, over the past 90 days, our views have jumped over 142%. We went from 140, we went to having, this is backwards, we had 141,000 views in a 1 quarter period at the end of the calendar year 25, which was up from Q3 of 49,000. So significant jump on that. And you guys know we've been pushing out a lot more on our social media.
Was it all about when is Chipotle opening?
That was about Jersey Mike's.
I just know those are big topics. That's okay.
Yeah, exactly. And it wasn't even really on, I think these are hits on our own page.
Not like the Palmer page.
Exactly. We'll see once they're all open if the numbers drop down a little bit.
There we go.
It was the post about shoveling.
Yeah, exactly. And then we encourage everyone again to follow us on Facebook for the most up-to-date information on the town. On next Saturday, January 17th, from 2 to 3 p.m., the Palmer Historical Commission will be joining the Springfield Armory National Historic Group to commemorate the 250th anniversary of Henry Knox. The event honors the 300-mile winter expedition that brought captured artillery from Fort Ticonderoga to Boston, an achievement that helped secure one of the Continental Army's earliest strategic victories. Here in Palmer, many people don't know that we have the Henry Knox Trail Marker located at 1 Wilbraham Street near the intersection on Main Street of Route 20, 181. And we encourage everyone, again, to continue looking at our Facebook page to see what other events we have coming up for the 250th year anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. And Ashley is going to start working, like I said before, with a group on how Palmer can offer some type of community event for that. A couple staff notes. Our new DPW director, who you guys met back in December, Dennis Clark, began his first week last week, and we are looking forward to working with him. In some negative news, the recreation director resigned effective of last week. I plan on meeting with the rec committee to discuss the next steps on a plan for the department. As you guys know, one of my goals is to look at shared service models. In my mind, knowing the struggles we had with filling this position and the candidate pool that's out there, it really makes sense to look at our neighbors and figuring out if there's a way that we can work with, specifically Munson, who I has started this process with, on coming up with a model that really works for both communities. I think as budgets become tighter, as everyone knows, we have a aging population. Our school numbers are dropping. Our overall numbers for youth programs are dropping, and not recreation is specific just to youth, but it helps strengthen programs that we may have to cancel and not offer because of low enrollment. If you combine the two towns, it just strengthens that number and allows us to offer more programs than what we might be able to. So more to come on that as I work with them on that.
Does Munson have a full-time rec director?
They do.
Okay.
Yes. They do. Any questions on that?
I guess just curious that, why it's so hard to fill that position, or the guy just started, did he not?
He
So
did.
what's the,
He got a very good offer closer to home, I believe.
okay, and I guess on the rec thing, I don't know if we throw it on the new DPW or whatever, but I know it's hard because sometimes we just had spring for the last 2 days, so, we do have the place in Bondsville and Thorndike that could be flooded for ice skating that was totally been neglected. And again, I know, weather permitting, the last 2 days we had were like spring, so, but,
I think one of them was flooded. I did see some chatter.
I seen, yeah, I'm guessing maybe the neighbors or whatever, the one in Bondsville looked like they had shoveled a small section. But, I mean, they were made to be able, and if we happen to do it and it doesn't get utilized, well, then that's,
What do you mean, like it was flooded and then the neighbors shoveled it, or it wasn't flooded
well,
at
they
all?
shoveled it for whatever reason. Somebody shoveled a section of it. I couldn't really tell if it had been flooded or not.
Okay.
I don't think any of them had been flooded yet this year. I mean, it used to always, but again, that was something that was, kids actually went outside and didn't have their face in the phone. And
Well, I think that too is.
we
one-
used to also use the little pond, it was called Bradley Pond right by the school there. We would use that for ice skating and playing hockey and this and that. But to encourage it, I guess, first it has to be there.
Right,
As they say, what's that saying? If you build it, they will come,
yeah. I think though that if it did get flooded, then, I did see someone had commented about, has anything been flooded, and someone did say that one of them had, I don't remember which one, but.
Converse, I think they said something
Was it
about-
Converse? Okay.
Yeah, I
So-
remember.
But I think it's important, like when DPW does flood one of the areas, to then get it out on Facebook.
Yeah, we
to
agree.
say that it is.
I know, like Thorndike, you gotta talk to the Thorndike Water Department, obviously, and have them eat whatever water is used. Back then, that place was by Diamond National. And then at one point, it was totally different, and they made the whole park level because of the way the banking went. It would freeze good, so, and then, of course, being town people or whatever, the water department didn't flinch an eye about, they would actually go, or somebody from Diamond National would go and flood the place. Obviously, that's, long history or whatever. As far as Bondsville, I don't know what, I'm guessing Bondsville Water Department
Angelson's new. We never funded it.
controls whatever water, actually for Three Rivers, and you guys, you're on that thing, you could build yourself something in the park that you could flood,
It goes back to, there's a lot, it goes back to what we're trying to do in town is consolidate down into one area that we can maintain.
Right.
So if I don't disagree with, it'd be great if we could offer all these throughout the town, but I'd rather maintain one appropriately and do it right. And we talked to DPW about this a couple weeks ago, that we were waiting for a cold spell. Now, whether they flooded before the cold spell or not, but as soon as that's ready to go, we'll publish that online and let everyone know. I used to skate at Converse when I was a
Like I
kid.
said, yeah, it's great to have one certain spot, but again, I'm all for losing the village mentality, but you have the spot in each village. It's just a matter of flooding it. The one in Bondsville, the one in Thorndike. What's the chances of some youngster from Thorndike's going to huff it to Bondsville to go ice skating, or, And it's, the only cost to the town actually is during the, I think it was Mr. Hansel that said they like to do it after dark or whatever, you know, everybody's not goofing around, because you're always gonna, somebody's gonna try and wreck it and throw stuff in it, whatever, you know, I don't know. Again, you know, all you can do is flood the thing and see which one, maybe only Bondsville takes off and they actually utilize it. And Thorndike people destroy theirs, and so it's like, you know, all right, well, then forget about it, you know.
We'll follow up though once we get more concrete info.
Anything else for Brad? Anything that you have? No, you're good, right? Okay, next we have miscellaneous correspondence. Anyone?
I've had a few, I guess to refresh my memory, how a few people being a little upset about, what's the, being taxed on, like, Carl, you get taxed on your grill, right?
Yeah.
Owning the grill.
And the thing never
Being
went down.
taxed on your equipment
40
and
years.
stuff. That supposedly,
It never
it's
went
never
down.
been like that. Now all of a sudden they got this huge bill for stuff that, equipment that they own or whatever. Now, is this just a certain town thing that,
I paid it every
You're
year.
required to file a form of, what's called a form of list every year with the assessors. And so if you don't file that form, and that's how they know what you have, but if you don't do it, then they're gonna keep using like what they have from the previous year. So I don't know why, maybe it's a new business and they found out that when they did, like, you know, we changed the company that we were using for personal property last year. And so maybe they discovered some businesses that were never being taxed before.
so if, let's say, for example, it's a business that's never, an office that's never been taxed before, they
Yeah.
just have a, they just kind of like put out a generalized tax saying, you know, I don't want to use the word make up, but,
No, they don't make it up.
you know, how do they know what that person has in their office, I guess, without physically going in there and,
They might have, I mean,
They
if it's a
do.
business that's open to the public, then they would have gone in and they would have done a visual. But if they get a bill, if they got a bill that they don't feel is accurate, then they should file for an abatement with the Board of Assessors.
And we had a few businesses reach out to us as well, and we're doing a joint meeting with a few of them, with the Board of Assessor and the business owner within the next couple weeks.
okay.
So that could be what it is. New company came in last year. They're
No, it's
doing
not a new company,
inventory.
but I'm
Or
assuming
first time they're
the
getting a
person that's
bill.
been talking to me is.
Well, no, meaning that the company that we use here on the town
Yes,
side.
yes,
Right,
probably.
so they're probably catching up and saying, oh, look at all these businesses,
was
and
one
they were
thing.
never.
I remember a year ago or so that I think, and I could be misspeaking, but the assessors had said it was something that they hadn't been
Capturing fully for a long time.
correct, and that they were gonna start. That
Exactly.
was my reply to that person too.
Yeah.
Was that, from my recollection, I know I'm starting to get to the, where it disappears quick sometimes.
So it's not a Palmer
But
specific
I'll
tax.
step down for sure, don't worry.
Yeah.
It's a state tax. Anything else, Phil?
Yeah, just that it's crazy. But I think that's it.
Anything
Thank you.
else?
No, I'm good.
I just wanted to let you guys know that I already discussed this with Brad, but we had gotten an email from a Michael Moran back in November, towards the end of November. The email went to everyone regarding signing on to a House resolution. You guys can all refer back to that email from 11/18, but I've asked Brad to reach out to Mr. Moran regarding what he's looking for from us, and Brad can report back to us. Whether that's inviting him to come speak at another meeting, or Brad just, at our next meeting, or Brad corresponding with him directly. Not that this is correspondence, but I just wanted to acknowledge that myself, Jessica, and Matt did attend the grand opening of the new candle shop.
Yeah, I missed it.
I did too.
And
527.
527 Candle Company, which is on
Central Street.
Central Street in Palmer, right across from the senior center, in the same strip that Tailgate is in. But beautiful shop. It's just it's a great addition to the town. So hopefully everyone will check them out.
I know that we were talking and that we should start, focusing on new businesses that open, because there are a lot of new shops
Yeah.
and little boutiques that are opening up all over town that just slip through the cracks because, people just don't know about them
Right.
yet. So
Yeah.
Yeah, we could, I mean, I can always reach out to them and say, hey, do you want to come in? We can give them 3 minutes in the top of a council meeting, or, it's their choice, so they
Right.
could choose to or not.
Yeah, I think, one of the things that we were talking about is the fact that, we hear a lot about like vacant storefronts, right? And I think that definitely was a thing in the past, but I think that there's actually been a lot of businesses that have now filled in to these vacant storefronts. And so it would be interesting to, one, as Matt said, to be able to highlight different businesses that have opened in the course of, maybe the past year, because obviously we haven't done it. But finding some way, whether it's, working with the clerk's office when they come and get a business certificate.
That's, I think,
Yeah,
probably gonna be your easiest way. is
Right.
Through them getting permits or
Right.
whatever, because like I know my brother's been down there in the bottom,
yeah,
Old
and
Park
so, I
Street
mean,
School
right,
for a
and that's a
year.
good example, because actually Matt and I were talking about your brother's business, and Matt did not know that existed, so, and he's been there a little while.
I've been on
but-
their first floor and I checked
Yeah.
out all the business. I didn't
So-
even know there was something in the
So I
basement.
think that we, it would be great if we could put something in place, but the other thing is, I would be interested to know what we really have for vacant storefronts at this point in time. Because I
Quite a
think
bit.
that we need to get the message out in a different way, that it's not that everything is vacant, but actually that businesses are coming in, and these are the businesses, and you need to support them. And so finding a way to do that. So between, all of downtown, both Three Rivers and Main Street in Palmer, and then any other areas where there, potentially, are business locations that are not full. If
Now,
we
is this
could
something
get
that the
that.
planning department actually tries to promote or looks in, like, I'm gonna use across from the new Chipotle's there, the old, who the hell owned it?
Old Duck
Trant.
property?
No, the old Trant Tire.
Old train,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Yeah, Carl Trant had the
So,
tire store.
Yeah, Heidi and I have
tire-
been working with Quabog Chamber on highlighting parcels in town that are for sale, or potential opportunities that someone could come and develop. So part of Heidi's goals last year was to develop a list that we've had a few businesses come in that unfortunately didn't choose Palmer because the site they were looking at specifically wasn't suitable for what their needs were, what the requests were. But with that being said, at the time, we weren't able to provide them with an alternative. So that was the plan of creating this list where if a business comes in, they can't fit here, rather than just tell you no, we can tell you no, but here's an alternative solution within the town. That's one of the goals that we worked on last year, and we have that inventory base. But we are pushing parcels that we know are for sale through various channels, and one of them is, I think, the Quabog Chamber of Commerce website. They have a listing of 5 properties that are ripe for development that are for sale.
Right, you got the old Agway. What else just popped up recently? The old Mersey's on Commercial Street in Thorndike.
The other thing that I'd like to see too is that just not small shops. We have industrial A and B, and there's a lot of space, from what I hear, available in a lot of our industrial areas too. So,
You got all Diamond National building there.
right, and that's just one example, right?
Right. Yeah, you got the warehouse in Bondsville that was owned by Diamond
There's a lot that
National.
people don't know that
Yeah,
exists
there's a
in
ton.
Palmer. There
Yeah.
really is.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of businesses that are in like, the industrial building, across from Hernevitz.
Tambrandt building, yeah, that's almost full.
And you know, and then when we were talking to, the owner of, the candle company, she was talking about, like, she had somebody local who designed her sign, and, you know,
And then painted.
and yeah, and so, you know, you don't even know that like these people exist. And so I think it's, and I've also noticed that like on Facebook, there's other businesses that are actually, someone posted this night, the new antique store that opened, they did this nice little picture thing, and your business was on there, Carl, about like there's a lot to go to on Main Street in Palmer, and but they're highlighting each other, and I think that that's a good thing. So however we can like hop on that bandwagon, you know, as far as economic development, would be great.
Yeah. And to hop on that, recently I needed some large format pictures printed out, and I don't know if they've been here for a while, but on Park Street there's I think it's called Glickly Photo and Framing. And I had just heard about them recently on Facebook because I had seen somebody share that their business, and I personally always go to a local print shop whenever I need photographs. Wow. Printed. And so now I know, like, I don't have to go all the way to Amherst to pick up some, prints. I can now go right here in Palmer. So, but that's another one that I didn't know about until recently.
That's in the Park Street School, right?
No, it's in in the shops where like Shimura's used to be.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Right in the corner,
Right in the
There was
corner.
one there
Yeah,
years
so we
ago.
actually went there, we got the frames for the pictures in here
Oh.
from that shop.
Oh, nice.
Oh, unless it's a different name of the shop now, but, we did go there and, picked out the frames when we did the little face.
Because there is another one though in the Park Street School.
Yeah,
Yep. So that I
I
just
didn't
recently
know
found
that.
that one.
I didn't
right?
know that.
yeah.
Yep.
There's all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff in that school.
And she's super busy. She's like so busy that she's like, there's a wait. Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah, that's great.
That's good.
Okay. Counselors Roundtable,
I think that was pretty much it.
pretty much.
Yeah.
If nobody has anything else, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Good night.